What the enemy often gives people he wants to trap and snatch away is a cycle of recreation. Well, that snatching away may be delayed 1, 2, or 3 decades because the enemy wants to use them to deceive others also. What the enemy is doing, he generates an environment in which you are at ease all the time. But you're told you need to make some effort for it. So you make the effort, so when you get the relief, the recreation, you think you've earned it. Even though the recreation is part of the system and your effort has nothing really to do with the recreation. The recreation is there, but you're told you need to work for it. Because if you don't have the money, you can't participate. So you work hard to participate in the recreation and you think you're living life. There's nothing wrong with going to an amusement park in itself. There's nothing wrong with going to a concert. There's nothing wrong with going to a festival in itself. There's nothing wrong with going to social events. But when you are in a cycle of recreation, you are recreating excitement. That's what recreation means. You recreate something. What are you recreating? Excitement, relief. Think about it this way. If someone smoked a joint for the first time, that high is the highest high he or she will ever have. If he smokes a joint and he becomes addicted to smoking joint, it is because he wants to recreate that first high. He will never get that ultimate high anymore. That was the peak that his body experienced with a substance. Every other high he will experience will have diminished returns. But because he still feels as if he's almost reaching that peak, he keeps on smoking it. And that's how the enemy keeps you trapped in a cycle of recreation. He does this with religion, with politics. The enemy has this way of trapping people in a recreative cycle. And the difference between a cycle of poverty and a recreation cycle is, in a cycle of poverty, you know you're impoverished and you know that if you don't get out of it, you're finished. In a cycle of recreation, you can't see you're being impoverished. You can't see you're trapped. You're having a great time. The buddies are calling you. You have booty calls on your WhatsApp. You're going on expensive holidays if you're part of some club. So things are working out against you. That's the difference. You think it's working for you, but it's working against you. It's only when it's way too late that you'll realize that something's wrong here. There are people who go through a crisis during this cycle of recreation, and this crisis in their personal circumstances is a wake-up call from the Most High for them to realize you're in trouble. But there are folks who harden themselves. They don't want to hear anything about it. They just want to be left alone. And they are, quote-unquote, left alone unto their own doom. So please, do not compare yourself. I'm talking to believers now. Don't compare the tribulations you go through with the relief that worldly people, quote-unquote, enjoy. Don't compare the resistance you endure with the intoxication the worldly people have. Because it's just intoxication. They're stuck. And they don't even want to see it. That's worse. If you're stuck and you can't see it's one thing. But not wanting to see it is a whole nother level. Well, just endure. Endure doesn't mean putting up everything. Endure means you keep on walking with faith. You keep on overcoming and overcoming. That's what you ought to do and be doing until Christ returns. Yes, you have life in abundance. And that life in abundance is resisted. That's why you need to endure until the end. So you need to overcome all that comes against you. And you will overcome all that comes against you when you walk in the power of the Holy Spirit. Do not be upset that worldly people have all this intoxication. First of all, they're lost. So after this season of recreation, whether it's 10, 20, or 30 years is over, they're finished. You, during this lifetime, you will endure stuff, but you will have victory in here and now, and it all will work out in eternal bliss on earth for you. So keep agreeing with Christ. Be at peace.